Hey everyone, SweetJohnnyCage here, back with another guide for Final Fantasy XVI. This time I'm going to show you how to take down Benedikta. If you're anything like me, this is probably going to take you a couple attempts, and she would likely be your first big roadblock of a boss, but it makes sense because she's a pretty big story boss. Alright, here in Phase 1, she mainly relies on these aerial assault attacks. They're pretty easy to dodge, especially if you just, give her some distance. However, what I recommend trying to do is waiting to dodge until she gets pretty close to you. This way you can get the precise dodge and then get in a big counter just like that. If you are feeling greedy, you can do a precise dodge into Benedikta to get a parry, and then you'll get even more damage. She will alternate these aerial assault attacks with air magic, as she's about to do here. This is Arowaga, and with this attack, she will send a big orb down, and then that creates an AoE on the floor that just keeps ticking for a little while. She will always follow that up with Aurora, which is just sort of a volley of orbs in a row, and then you can just stand in between them and you'll be fine. She does not have a lot of health in this phase, but don't be deceived because the real fight starts after this, and that health bar is massive. So when you have her staggered, just lay into her as much as possible. If you're running a little low on health, you just want to use Torgal to keep healing. He doesn't heal for much, but it is still helpful. Eventually, when she's at about 10% health, you will arrive at a clash, and then after a bit of a cutscene, Torgal goes away, and then you have to fight her one-on-one. In this phase, she uses air magic while flying, and then she will generally follow that up with a big icon strike attack with these claws. So you want to be very, very cautious of those, because if you get hit by one, chances are you're going to get hit by the follow-ups. You'll see here, now she is using 3 Arowaga attacks. They all land, and they all sit on the floor dealing ticking damage, so you want to run along the walls, get them to land behind you, and then you can move in. Aerial Slash is a really interesting attack. She does it from a really big distance, but you can do dodges through them, and then you can use that to close the gap. I did not have a lot of health, and I typically don't like to rely on items, so I was just sort of dodging them just to get to safety. So you can see here, used a potion just to kind of get back up to about 40% health, and then I start running around again to dodge these Arowaga orbs, and then she will start flying around, and then she will cast air magic while flying. It's a little tough to recognize. You will notice here that she came in with a talent attack, and then I dropped her below 50% stun. What that allowed me to do was to interrupt the next volley or flurry of claw attacks. Normally, though, she will follow that up. I just got a little lucky there. So eventually, she will do Arrow Rain, where she flies around the keep, and then she just keeps laying down wind magic. And really, all you got to do from then on is just run around in a circle, and they'll all miss you. She will then drop to the floor really fast. I just recommend walking in a direction, and then she'll drop behind you, and then you can just dodge right into her and then deal some damage. So aerial strike there again, and just really rinse and repeat at this point. So I really don't recommend doing precision dodges on those air magic attacks, because if you are slow to dodge one, you're gonna get hit by both, and you're really just better off running from them. It's much, much safer. Just keep running in a direction. It is hard to tell when it's happening because she's just in the air all the time in this phase, so it can be pretty tricky. But you'll see here, got a stagger down, 5,600 damage. Nothing too crazy, but it's okay. All right, so at this point in the fight, she is going to rip a couple turrets down and then smack them together into a big ball of bricks. Then she's going to throw it at you, and then you have a quick time event where you need to dodge out of the way pressing R1. So this is Rammelfall here, bit of an ultimate attack. So once the R1 prompt shows up, press R1, you'll do a cinematic dodge. The keep starts to crumble, and then the fight continues. So this fight goes on for a little while, and that attack will happen again. However, it will no longer be a cinematic attack. It will just happen. There is a really big lead up to it, so it's not like you can't see it coming. It's very obvious, but it's no longer a cinematic thing, and you are just going to have to dodge it on your own. After you dodge it the first time, you get basically a free stagger. It seems a bit quicker than normal, I think maybe because it's just a cinematic one, or it happens out of a cinematic. After that takedown, however, she will start to use a tornado attack. This tornado attack is always followed up by a diving claw attack, and the trick to the tornado thing, or really her trick, is that the clouds are going to obscure your vision, and then you need to get pretty far away from the tornado. This way you can see the claw attack coming. Aerial slash changes to a vertical slash, followed up by a few horizontal slashes, but you will notice that there is an Arowaga orb above Benedikta as she is casting aerial slash there. So it's no longer safe to just run into her after the aerial slash. You need to wait for that Arowaga orb to come down. So this is the claw attack. Again, pretty easy to dodge. It just has a greater range, and it's going to hit you quicker now. That's really the change here. But you can see here the tornado is really just obscuring vision, and then she's always ready with that diving claw attack. Really, really deadly stuff, and you want to be very careful with that. What's nice to know is that, when she casts Tornado, you know what's coming next every single time. So it's not the end of the world that she starts casting it. You just want to make sure that you get yourself to safety, and then look out for the green talons coming through. After a while, she will start to use Gathering Clouds, which puts a really big AoE on the ground. You want to just back up out of that, and then she will always follow this up with Rammelfall, which again is that ultimate attack. However, it is no longer a cinematic attack. You have to dodge that on your own. That is pretty much it for this second phase. Those are all of her attacks. So at this point, you really just want to start combining things as best as you can, put it together, and then try not to take too much damage while you chip away at her. Like I said before, she does have a pretty massive health bar, and she really knows how to use the space to her advantage in this fight, especially in this phase. So again, Tornado is always followed up by that diving claw attack. You always know it's coming. It's extremely predictable. It happens 100% of the time. For the Arowaga orbs, again, just keep moving around the arena, and they will all fall behind you, and you just don't want to stand near them when they drop, because they will continue to deal some ticking damage. This volley of claw attacks here, it is kind of hard to see it coming. However, if you do not precision dodge the first one, she will always follow up with several other claw attacks. And there's a total of 4 that happen, and the final one is quite devastating. It always slams down on about a 45-degree angle and can be pretty tough to dodge. I did have an attempt on this boss where I managed to do a warp strike up to her by pressing circle, and then I was able to interrupt it, but I'm not 100% sure if that was just because I got a decent amount of stun on her. But if you're feeling gutsy and you have a lot of health, try to press circle, get up to her when she's in the air before she uses those attacks, and you may be able to fully interrupt her and get a lot of stagger. But again, that's just a theory. It only happened to me once. Once you reach about 40% HP on the boss, Torgal will come back into play, and then the fight continues on. So feel free to use him to sick Benedikta. You can use Ravage, although it will not pop her into the air. And you can also use Heal to get back a little bit of health. Whatever helps. In this final phase, everything is dialed up to 11. She basically becomes a raid boss, and things get crazy. So Tornado fills the entire arena. Several AoEs happen on the ground. You got to avoid all of them. And then she follows it up with this crazy volley of claw attacks. If you have a high potion, you're going to want to have it saved for this section of the fight. It is quite devastating to get hit by that claw attack. It's going to happen to me a couple times. Deadly Embrace is a new, very devastating attack that you have to be quite careful of. I got caught by it here. As you can see, it does massive damage because she combines it with Twister. I'm already back down to like 15-20% HP, running low on potions. So this is really the point of the fight where you gotta be really, really precise with your movement. You saw there, I failed to dodge the Aurora attack. I got hit by one, and then I got hit by the other. When that's happening, do your best to just recognize it and just run. Stop trying to dodge. Frankly, I was panicking a little bit here because I was so low on health, and this fight was going over 10 minutes at this point, and I just wanted it to end. But after getting hit by this, I calmed down a bit. I did have to eat this Deadly Embrace. At this point, I was pretty much just mashing heal with Torgal, just trying to get him to heal me for anything. Luckily, though, she let me go out of the Deadly Embrace. I'm not exactly sure what triggered that. but it seemed like she wanted to do a different attack other than the twister attack, so that helped me a good deal. Fully expected to die there. I think I might have survived it, though, if Torgal had been healing me. So you can see here, I got her down to about 5% HP, and I'm just trying to wrap up the fight as best I can. Tornado comes down again, lots of tornadoes this time, and then she will always follow us up with a claw attack. When those two claws are coming out on the sides, what you can actually do is just run through them. As long as you make it past them before the attack actually comes down, you're perfectly safe, and that's actually a pretty good way to get in on her, but she just keeps following that all up with more volleys of claw attacks, so it can be quite devastating. So you can see there, she hit me with Deadly Embrace, pulled me in, cast Tornado. I guess maybe she has a 50-50 of using Tornado versus Twister there, and maybe following it up, so that's quite lucky. So here, I was just waiting for some sort of cinematic ending, but it's not. You have to bring her down to 0% HP, so just keep attacking her until she is dead. And that's it. That's Benedikta, and that is one of the first major bosses of Final Fantasy XVI. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment. I'll do my best to help you out. If you're looking for more guides for Final Fantasy XVI, please subscribe to the channel so you get alerted when new guides go live. If you're interested in supporting the channel monetarily, please consider becoming a channel member by clicking the join button below this video. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter and join my Discord. The links for those are in the description below. As always, I'm SweetJohnnyCage. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.